Okay, I'm going to be putting in a new faucet. This is a faucet I'm going to be putting in. I just have never liked how close that this neck is to the back of the sink. So this one here has a little bit longer extension. I'm going to come out just about another inch. And then I've got everything cleaned out here and the water turned off under the trailer. And my first step is I'm going to put some shutoff valves down here. Most homes have shutoff valves, but my trailer didn't come with any, so I'm going to install some of them, and I'll try to leave the link in the description. This is what they look like. They basically just push on and you just screw them on. The easiest thing I found out that cuts this PEX tubing is just an X-Acto knife. And this one here I'm going to cut down just below this fitting, because even though I don't see anything leaking, the corrosion tells me there has been something leaking. So over here on the cold water side, it's not been leaking, so I'm probably going to put it up higher. If at any time it does start to leak, I can always put another valve here. Okay, I cut a hole in there and just draining the excess water. Then I'll cut the tubing all the way. Okay, I've got it cut off, so I'm going to take the valve. There is a water flow arrow, so you put the arrow going up. I'm just going to push this right on there. Okay, so now I'll just pull this up and screw it on. Okay, I just use these pliers and just snugged it up. It does not have to be excessively tight. You can check it after you get all the water hooked up. So I'm going to do the same thing on the right side. Okay, I got the cold water one started. Now I've marked the tubing coming down from the faucet because I'm thinking it's going to need to be that same length right there. And so I'll double check it when I get the faucet off. I want to warn you about using that X-Acto knife. I'm not one to cut myself with those things, but I just cut myself putting this cold shutoff valve on, and also cut myself when I put the kitchen faucet in. So just be real careful. So now once you have these shutoff valves on, you just turn them off, and now you can go back under the house and turn the water on for the rest of the house if you want, and you don't have to worry about, getting these top hoses connected. And now I'm going to try to unscrew those from the faucet up above. Okay. Alright, these were not on tight at all. Just, apparently, they were just hand tightened. That's kind of surprising. See this one? This one the same way. Okay. Let me see how tight that is. Okay, that's tight. I'll have to see if I can get that. Okay, it's kind of a tight fit in here. I'm on my back, and it kind of hurts, but these are the two nuts that got to come off. This one and this one. I already loosened these with the pliers. Okay. Alright. Oh, that's nasty. Okay, let me just compare. Okay. Looks like the stem on this is a tiny bit longer. Alright. Because this, that, maybe they're about the same. Okay. I'll clean this up, get this put on. Okay, these faucets are about 30 years old, so they've done their duty, and it would be nice to have a new faucet on here. Okay, the directions call for silicone clear RTB, but I'm going to just try this putty. I think it'll work. Okay, I've tightened the nuts down underneath, and that putty will continue to seep out a little bit. So I'll clean that off at the end. Okay, this is the cold pipe. I screwed it on to the faucet and remeasured, and it's a little bit shorter. I need to cut it right about there. Okay, I've got the cold pipe screwed on, and what I'm gonna do is just pull this out a little bit so it can go in under there, and I'm gonna try to attach that. I'll probably put a little silicone grease here. I'll also put some silicone grease up on that pipe before I screw that on. And I just hand tightened that real snug the way it was before. Hopefully that'll work. Be sure you put the cap on there first before you put these together. Okay, you want to make sure and tighten those nuts down first before you tighten these nuts here. And I'm getting ready to hook up the hot. Okay, so I got those both hooked up, got the faucet in. We're not done yet. We've got to do the drain. And so the original drain just had a stopper, but this new faucet fortunately came with a pop-up drain that matches the faucet. So I'm going to try to switch that out. First step is to unscrew the pipe right here. Okay, this is what we got. I'm going to just leave all that, and then we got to unscrew that. Okay, both these were real easy to unloosen without a wrench. And just take note of where this is, because it's going to go in a very similar spot on the new one. I'm going to pull all this off. And we can just pull the drain right up. Okay, these look to be about the same size. Now, the only thing is this pipe is too long. So I'm going to have to cut that. Interestingly enough, this old one, it had that foam seal. So, I mean, it didn't leak, but they seem to know how to cut corners everywhere they can in the mobile homes. So I'll put some underneath this. I'll just put some the same stuff I've put under the faucet, just some putty. On this particular one, this unscrewed from the top, and I'll just clean this up and put some putty. And once you get this in here, then you screw this pipe down to the bottom. Line these up, and I've marked where I think is a good spot to cut. I might cut it a tad bit short. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I drilled a small hole on both sides, and then I drilled a bigger hole. And now I'm just taking the drill and winding it around. I'll show you. Okay, I'll turn the drill on while I hold this, and I'll just twist this. Hopefully that'll cut a lot of it. So you can see I'm making the hole wider. Okay, I've cut through all but a little part there. I can either get that with the drill, or I do have this. I'll probably use this. Okay, that didn't take long. I'll clean this end up, and then it'll be ready to put on. Okay, I cleaned it up with a hacksaw and some 80 grit and 120 grit sandpaper. So that should work. Okay, the directions said to use RTV silicone, but I'm just going to use this putty. Push it on there. And I'll screw this on underneath. Okay, before you screw this on, it'll be easier if you put that seal on in the big ring. You want this part right here to go towards the bag. That's where the things to lift the drain is going to go. Okay, so I'm just screwing this onto the drain. Okay, I'm going to have to hold the drain from the top so it gets tight. Okay, now I'm going to tighten this nut, which will push this washer up here on top. Okay, I've run into a problem. This flange is thicker than the sink, and so I cannot tighten it up with the washer that's under it. So I am going to use the clear RTV on this, and what I'm going to do is put it on really thick on the sides, and then on the top, and I mean up here, under here, and then I'm also going to put it underneath the sink and let it dry overnight. Okay, actually I'm going to let this dry overnight before I put a bead underneath, because it might move on me, but I put a really large bead on the side and top underneath, and just squished it down and wiped it clean. Okay, so it's the next day, and you can see how much thicker that was than the sink. So I'm just going to put a little bit of bead of clear silicone right here, just to hold that sturdy. I do see the silicone came through. Okay, I see the silicone came through enough. I think that's enough. No, I think I'll screw the bottom part on. Okay, when I screw this on, it ends up with this side piece being to the right, and it needs to be the back. So, okay, I've got it going to the back now. I just wrapped the threads with this pipe tape. I should have, yesterday when I glued the drain in, I should have had this pipe screwed on and had it in the right position, but I think it's going to work now. Okay, this is the rod that goes in the back of the hole that I've got facing to the back. I'll take this yellow cap off. Okay, the directions say you can make it so this rod just goes like this and lifts the stopper, and then you can take the stopper out to clean it, or you can put that rod actually through the hole like this, I think, but I'm going to do it so I can remove the stopper. So I'm going to put it in this way. And when I put this in from the back, I can squeeze these to push it in that hole. Okay, I've got it in. Okay, this is the lift rod here. This is the lift rod strap. So I'm going to put the lift rod in this hole back here, and then underneath I'm going to put it right in there, on the top of this. Okay, so here you can see I got everything. This is attached, and you want to push this rod all the way down, that means that the stopper is all the way up. And find a good hole. So I would say that hole right there. Then pull the blue clip all the way down to secure everything. Okay, let's see if it works. It's working. It's a little noisy. Let me see if I can grease up. Okay, I took this back off because it was a little stiff. So I put some silicone grease on both sides of the rod when I had it in the furthest position. Let's see. Like that. Put some there and then move it. And put some on the other side. Silicone grease will protect the plastic. If you use oil, I'd be real careful because over time it can deteriorate the plastic. You don't want to get it too slippery because then it won't work right. Okay, I've also put a lot of silicone grease there. I just put a bunch on in that hole, and then I wiped off the excess, so that's a little quieter too. Okay, what I did is I decided to lift this rod up one extra one, and that makes the push rod stand up a little bit, but it seems to take away some of the noise. Okay, I've screwed this pipe back on, got everything together. So we're going to turn the water on and see if it leaks. Turn this on. Okay, so I got the faucet on. Come back down here. Turn this on the rest of the way. I'm going to turn this on. Okay. I'm just going to check for leaks. I don't see any so far. I'll wait a couple hours too. Let's see what's going on up here. Okay. That looks good. Okay. That looks good. Here's the box for the faucet. That's the number. I think they may have discontinued this. I mean, it was on closeout and I got them for $20 a piece. But just for anybody that's interested. Let's see here. Here we go. And, so it was from Home Depot. They make these in different colors too. This one is called polished brass. So when you're looking for a faucet, you want to look for keep in mind the distance from the center here of the knobs to the center of the end of the spout. And I think this original one was about 4 inches. And this new one is about 6 inches, so you can see it's, and because of the arch, it's much further away from the back of the sink than the other one, which is very nice. Okay, it's been several hours. I don't have any leaking. This is holding water really good. Oh, everything's good. I did want to make a comment of something to watch. So when you're putting in this this faucet here and adjusting it, take note of where this sits. You want this to be centered above this. And then also take note, so you know how quiet this is to move your stopper up and down. I got mine pretty quiet, and also I've got this so it can pull out easily and be cleaned. That's a plus for me. Thank you for watching.